Hello, 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 and welcome to Celebrate Life Cancer Ministry and Celebrate Life Today. And I am your host, Pastor Rhonda. Today we have an exciting hour for you. We're going to be hearing from a school that is going to, and their vendors and their partners that are making a difference in the lives of our young people here in Los Angeles. So please allow me to introduce to you Mr. Steve, and he will be your director for the day.
Thank you, Pastor Rhonda. So good morning, everyone. And just as Pastor Rhonda introduced earlier, yes, we do have an exciting program for today. And we do have an actual, like she said, a school here today with all the different vendors, their enrichment programs. And I'm going to turn it right over so we can get started today to our principal, Mr. Alejandro Gomez. So Mr. Gomez, take it away, sir.
You're on mute.
Oh, Mr. Gomez, we're able to hear you.
We can hear you.
Well, while we're working on Mr. Gomez's technology, his mic, Mr. Steve, you want to share?
Yes, if we can pull up that first slide for us, Pastor, and I'll go out and introduce a little bit about the school as we're getting the technology worked out. So Bridges Preparatory Academy is a new charter school that is opening up in Compton, the city of Compton. It was founded by Mr. Alejandro Gomez, which he'll be telling us a little bit about his vision, his mission. And then today he also has with him the different partners and different enrichment programs that he will be offering at his campus. Can you speak now, Mr. Gomez? Okay, so just a little bit about his school. If we can go to the his next slide, Pastor. So just a little bit about Bridges. It is going to be a middle school campus that is going to be focusing on the social and emotional aspects of the student. But at the same time, it's also going to focus on making sure that the students have a well-roundedness in the areas of science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Just allowing all the students to be able to have access to all of these different areas that they might have an interest in. And so today, what he did was he brought along with him all of his different vendors and partners throughout the community who are going to just share a little bit about their program, what they offer, and how they're going to be partnering with VPA. So first we have to introduce, we do have Miss Susan Beck here from the Dove organization who's going to tell us a little bit about Dove, what it's offering. So Miss Beck, I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
All right. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you, Pastor Rhonda, for allowing us to be here. And I'm very excited about BPA. I've worked with Mr. Gomez before, and I know what he can do, and I know the type of school that he can perform. So Dove Club is going to be a part of his vendor after school program. And Dove, D-O-V, not D-O-V-E, stands for Daughter of Virtue. And virtue meaning teaching young ladies from the ages of 10 to 18 to have virtuous character. You don't have to be perfect, but teaching them how to be virtuous in a society that's changing. and keeping values and knowing that it's okay to have a standard. So what Dove does, we have a workshop, 8-week workshops in our tenets, which is community service, leadership, academics, emotional intelligence, etiquette, entrepreneurship, excuse me, and social media responsible usage. And I'm excited because for middle school girls, it's going to help them be equipped for high school and years to come in college, and then recycle what they've learned from Dove and teach to the next generation of girls. So we do a lot of workshops like crafts, because what I've noticed is that we don't do crafts anymore with our hands. So I really want to teach the girls how to sew, how to use yarn and knit, do different things like that, so that they can develop their skills and talents and know how to do different things besides playing video games. So Dove is also a sisterhood connection. We talk about friendship. We talk about dealing with friendships with girls and how we become women and how those friendships are developed, and how they are a meaningful purpose relationship in our lives. So we at Dove, we have a lifelong communication and relationship where we track the young ladies throughout their elementary, middle school, high school, and college and beyond. So that's a little bit about Dove. So I'm glad to be here, and I give it back to Mr. Steve.
Thank you, Ms. Beck, for sharing that. So we're going to just keep going right along. Our next enrichment program that is going to tell us a little bit about what they provide is coming from the director and founder, Ms. Tanisha Hall, who's going to speak a little bit about Whitehall Arts Academy. Ms. Tanisha? Can you hear us, Ms. Tanisha? Oh. Okay. So I think we're going to come back to Ms. Tanisha. There might be some technical difficulties with her mic as well. So we'll come back to hear a little bit more about Whitehall Arts Academy. In the meantime, we'll just go right on to our next enrichment program. We have Ms. Monique here, who's going to talk a little bit with us about her dance and movement program. So Ms. Monique, we'll turn the mic over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. Am I good? All right, great. So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to be a part of, first of all, BPI. I'm just excited to be working with Principal Gomez and my good friend, Miss Susan Beck. She brought me into this new partnership, this new family of educators and vendors that have the opportunity to share with these wonderful students in the city of Compton. I am so excited to be a part of this program. So MCM, Monique's Creative Movement, and I'm the founder and director, and I am moving into a position where I have developed a section of mentees, which are teacher trainers that are going to be taking over certain sites. So I'm very excited because BPI be one of the first sites that they are going to be taking over. And so we are a portable enrichment dance program. We do dance education, and that's different from just teaching dance. Our jobs, our assignment, our calling is to make sure that we are equipping students to understand dance history, to engage them with dance culture, to be able to have them utilize technique and training, to be able to develop communication skills, to be able to develop confidence and creativity, but to also be able to understand the adaptability that they need in their life. And so we're really excited about the program. And what's really unique about what MCM does is that we customized curriculum for the institution. For example, in the city of Compton, I just got a contract for this summer school session, and we customize a curriculum called Social Justice Through Dance. And so we will be teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th graders this summer about social justice and how to be able to create social justice movement and using social media and dance as a platform. So it's really exciting to be allowed to connect with the school and connect with what is happening so that we can create customized curriculum for the different programs that we'll work with. So we like to engage the students in exploration, creativity, uniqueness, and energy. We want them to be able to understand that they're always exploring and discovering, and that learning how to do that through dance is one of the most exciting ways to do that, and see how things all work together. We utilize dance technique and different dance genres around the world. So our teachers will be teaching students in West African and hip hop and jazz and contemporary and commercial and Latin jazz and Latin, and so Afro-Caribbean. So they'll get a chance to explore culture and understand movement. And so we love that part of the exploration. The creativity comes where they are going to learn principles about dance technique and about choreography, about developing. And that goes aligned with the STEM understanding of making sure that they are learning how to first use math, use language, use history and cultural to be able to do that. And so we put those things together. And particularly for the program that we're working on right now, we're utilizing language and literacy. We're looking at prose that talk about social justice. We're looking at songs and music that talk about that. And we're going to dissect that and then put that into our bodies and what that looks like for us as movers. And so that's really the creativity part. The students have the ability to learn these skills and then right away begin to use them for themselves. And so we're empowering them in that way. And then the uniqueness of what we do is that we have specialized educators. I'm very fortunate. I am a college professor, so I get a chance to recruit dancers from Cerritos College, from Irvine Valley College, from different Cypress College. I get to recruit my dancers, and they get to learn. They're already learning how to be dancers, but learning how to be dance educators, which is a different layer of understanding what they can do with their body and how to share that with young people. And so that's really, really powerful. And so we're excited to be able to bring these unique, talented, multicultural dance instructors to the school. And then lastly, the energy that comes with that. We engage your students. And so we want them to be lifelong learners and lifelong lovers of movement. And so we're really excited to be able to show and let them become people watchers and see how movement happens, and see what movement happens in nature, and movement happens, when you see people on the street and the cars going by, just all of that, just being able to engage and love movement and love being able to share that passion of movement. So we want to engage your students in those kind of experiential platforms. So we are excited. Again, the last leg of MCM is my professional development program, which has that mentorship program. So I'm very excited to be offering students who have graduated, and I have a student that's in our master's program, graduated from UCLA like I did, woohoo, go out to our Bruins, and they're all pursuing their education. And so this is their passion. They're passionate about teaching. They're passionate about giving back to the community. A lot of these students who work with my program live in Compton. I live in Compton. I'm very proud to be a part of that, or go to church in Compton. So we're excited to be a part of this new charter school and this new opportunity to share art, love, and dance.
Thank you so much, Ms. Monique. I love how everything that you were saying is just, it incorporates all the different subject areas, the math, the science, all of that. So that's amazing. So moving right along, we're going to move right into our next enrichment program, which will be presented by Dr. Michelle Hurd, who is one of the founders and the president of the EEP, the Evelyn E. Perkins Scholarship Foundation, which is going to talk a little bit about what the Scholarship Foundation offers. So, Dr. Michelle.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Steve. Can you hear me?
Yes,
can everybody hear me?
Yes, we
Can
can.
you hear me? Okay, good. That's what I want to hear everybody heard. Okay, first of all, I want to thank Pastor Rhonda for this opportunity to be on the show. And I also want to say happy Juneteenth to everybody. And we are excited to be a part of the VPA Academy coming into the Compton area. For as far as EEP, we are going into our 15th year. We have our goal and our motto, our mission has always been to support education and students who are seeking higher learning. We have a board of directors and comprised of people who are just passionate about education and the value it brings to our communities and to our whole world. And so we are looking forward to being a part of this program. And what we're planning to do, which have been fortunate to do, is to help students writing, completing their applications. You'd be surprised how important that is with students who are preparing their college journey, to be able to fill out their applications correctly, to be able to look for financial assistance that will help them out, because a lot of the scholarships only take care of the tuition. And there are other factors, as we all know, when you're going beginning your college journey, that you're going to have to deal with. For instance, how about parking fees? If you have a car, how about just feeding yourself? And we're finding out from a lot of our recipients that the $1,000 scholarships that we offer and $500 sometimes to those who are going to a 2-year college program help them and assist them with some of these unexpected expenses. So we are going to be helping them not only to navigate through the process as they begin this college, but also open up opportunities for them in literacy workshops, perhaps improving the way that they write and communicate with other people, because that is also important as well, how you present yourself. These are some of the things we're looking at. We're also looking to help them improve in their reading skills. How important is that in a classroom? Having been a classroom teacher for several years with Los Angeles Unified, I understand the importance of making sure that the classroom environment is conducive to learning and exploration, because that's how you get to be a lifelong learner and understand the benefits of higher education. So we want to make sure that they are not only addressing all of the different aspects of the STEM curriculum, but also looking at different types of reading. For instance, science is one of my favorite things, and I have also written a science fiction book. It's called 327G. It's now on Amazon. And we're looking at different areas of that science, because we know right now that in February of this year, they sent a rover Perseverance to the Delta of Jezero crater. So we have a lot of countries that are trying to get to Mars, and a lot of students are interested in outer space. And we know that a lot of the tech jobs from the future will include aerospace and some of the other aspects of the aerospace industry. So we are looking to help them be able to write in all genres, be able to communicate and understand maybe their passions, because we have found that when students are passionate about a different subject, that they do better in it and they're willing to pursue it with all of the vigor that they can. So we're looking forward to being part of BPA. We're looking forward to meeting new students and possibly having them apply for our scholarship. We invite anyone excuse me, anyone or anyone listening in who would like to check us out on our website. It is all listed in our information. I'm sure Mr. Steve has it already listed for us. But again, I am excited. I'm very happy to be have our organization included in the BPA curriculum and after school program, and we look forward to being a place, a resource that will help the students to excel and move forward in their educational journey. Thank you, Mr. Steve. Back to
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Michelle. Thank you so much. And now we're going to turn it right over to our next presenter, which is Mr. Cliff, who again is the founder and the director of the Blueprint Empowerment Academy. So Mr. Cliff, I'm going to turn it over to you. While we're waiting for Mr. Cliff to come back in, we're going to keep on moving forward. And so our next group that we are going to have come and present and tell us a little bit about their program is Mr. Dave, who is the president and founder of the Parent Engagement Workshop Program that is right locally here in Southern California. So Mr. Dave, we're going to let you go on and speak. And then it looks like Mr. Cliff has come back in. So then we'll have Cliff come in and tell us a little bit about the Empowerment Academy. So Dave, we'll turn it over to you first.
First of all, I wanted to say, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity that you have given us to participate in this wonderful, wonderful program and to support VPA. Also, thank you, Pastor Rhonda, Mr. Gomez, as well as Mr. Steve. You're very, very special to us. We've been working together for many years. And one of the wonderful things about our program is the fact that our number one priority is building capacity through parent education. Our program covers technology, parenting, as well as English, conversational English, university, college and career readiness, STEAM, and early child development. And it's a very broad program because our goal is always to identify what are the needs of the schools, and then based on that, to provide the services that they need in order to be successful. Our main priority is always working with the school as well as with the parents, so that way the students can benefit from all the support that the parents receive. Something that we have seen in action is our technology classes. As a result of them, many parents have been equipped with the knowledge and the skills necessary to support their children with distance learning. And furthermore than that, the many parents have actually been able to get better jobs by applying the skills that they learn in the workshops that we provide. So we're very, very grateful to be here. We're very proud of this endeavor, and we're here to support you 100%.
Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate it. We're going to turn it back over to Mr. Cliff to tell us a little bit about the Empowerment Blueprint Academy. So Mr. Cliff, take it away.
Thank you. On behalf of the Blueprint Empowerment Academy, we want to thank Pastor Rhonda, Mr. Steve, Mr. Gomez for the opportunity. I definitely feel blessed to be a part of something like this. We are an advocacy firm that is focused strictly on educational initiatives. So we've created an enrichment program called the Smart Start Initiative that combines 3 areas of student development that we believe would combine a correlation between their development and personal success through personal development, professional development, and financial education. So some of the benefits of the program that we've created include essential life skills along with financial literacy, social and emotional development, as well as public speaking and effective communication, along with career exploration, interview rehearsal, and resume preparation. Our mission statement is pretty simple. It's 3 things. It's learn, earn, and return. So we want them to learn the knowledge and the skill set that requires success. We want them to earn ethically, and then we want them to return back to the community. So our aim is to build people, and we believe that our alumni will create the jobs for tomorrow. Thank you for the opportunity, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Cliff. I appreciate it. Next, we are going to turn it over to Miss Rachel, and Miss Rachel knows how much I love working with her. She's with the Natural History Museum. We've actually been working together for quite some time, so I'm so glad that she was able to come and share a little bit about the Natural History Museum, the different exhibits they offer, even the different programs between the internship programs, research programs that they offer there. So Miss Rachel, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks so much, Mr. Steve. Just want to check, can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. Great. Well, I want to express my gratitude again to Mr. Steve and Mr. Gomez and Pastor Rhonda for having me to share a little bit about the Natural History Museums of Los Angeles County, of which we are a proud partner of VPA. So my name is Rachel Fiddler. I'm the manager of school and teacher programs at the Natural History Museums of Los Angeles County, which includes the Natural History Museum in Exposition Park, the La Brea Tar Pits and Museum in Hancock Park, and the William S. Hart Museum in Newhall. So at the Natural History Museum, we have over 35 million different objects and specimens in our collections. And what you see represented in our exhibit halls represents somewhere between 1 to 2% of our collections on the whole. So we contain so many different specimens and objects that as a part of the museum's collections. And with some regularity, the Natural History Museums discover new species that have been hidden away in our collections for years. And based on new information or new techniques, we discover them to be entirely new species. So there's still active science happening every day at the museum. Our collections are used by researchers from other museums and universities as well. And our scientists and historians are making new discoveries about Los Angeles and the world using our collections, data from field expeditions, information from community scientists, which I'll talk a little bit more about, and other tools and techniques of modern research. So everything we do is guided by our institution's mission to inspire wonder, discovery, and responsibility for our natural and cultural worlds. And our vision to truly be a museum of, for, and with Los Angeles. So in connecting with Bridges Preparatory Academy and Mr. Steve, we hope to connect students more closely with their county museum. And Mr. Steve has been an integral member of our inaugural Teacher Advisory Council, which has brought together 9 teachers from across the county to advise us on working with student communities and ensuring that our museum is truly meeting the needs of our school audience. And so he's helped us make meaningful connections between our museum collections that I was just mentioning and our active scientific research with his students. So all of our programs aimed to help students build critical thinking skills through scientific literacy, forge connections with each other and with our collections, and hopefully find value and relevance in our natural and cultural worlds through making these connections at the museum. And one of the key ways that Mr. Steve and Mr. Gomez and his students have kind of started to connect with our museum and get excited to STEM learning is through our community science projects, in which our community members, so students, families, parents, teachers, siblings, participate in active scientific research by contributing their observations that they see in their neighborhood, in their home, to an app called iNaturalist. And this has been a really neat way to get students engaged and excited about science. We've had students that have taken photos of a snail they found under the crack in the sidewalk, and our malacologist, our scientist who studies snails, has discovered that that was an entirely new species that hadn't been discovered in LA before. So we love to empower students to get excited about science, to see themselves in science, and Mr. Steve's work with iNaturalist and with our community science program has definitely kind of elevated that mission and helped us connect students even closer to the work that happens at the museum every day. We've been doing a lot of work in COVID, though the museum just reopened fairly recently to the public. We've been doing virtual programming for students. We have our virtual summer camp coming up. Mr. Steve mentioned that we offer some internship programs that have been existing throughout the pandemic for high school students. So we're still working to provide free resources to our community and make sure that students and their families can get engaged with the museum. I encourage you all to come visit us now that we are open again to the public. Our butterfly pavilion is open now, so I encourage you to check that out before Labor Day when we kind of seasonally close that exhibit and move on to other outdoor programming. I'll also remind folks that we have free days and hours at the museums. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, we are free to LA County residents from 3 to 5 p.m. So I definitely encourage you to come check us out at those times. LA County Library card holders can also reserve free tickets to the museum in advance at the LA County Library website. And our active and retired military, California EBT card holders, and California teachers with ID are always free to our museums. So I'm really excited to continue our work with VPA, Mr. Steve, Mr. Gomez, and all the incredible people that are also here on this presentation today. And I want to thank you again for including us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rachel. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Gomez to tell us a little bit about his vision, tell us about how he got the charter school started. And then at the conclusion of that, Pastor Rhonda, I'm going to turn it back over to you to open it up for questions and comments and all that good stuff. So Mr. Gomez, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me now? Yes. Thank you. Awesome. Great. I'm excited. As everyone has been listening, all the partners that we're partnering up with, everything that we're basically bringing to the table for this community is awesome. I just want to be very clear that this school is going to be available for anyone who could get to our school. So that means if you live in San Francisco and you have your personal jet, you can fly in, we welcome you. So just want to be very clear on this. Even though it's in Compton, it's available for anyone who would like to attend. What was my vision, like Mr. Steve said? My biggest vision was making sure that we serve a community that was in such need. One of the biggest things that I did, some of you guys are very familiar with what I've done. I have over 23 years of experience as a counselor, as a teacher, as a psychologist, as an administrator, and now with the hard efforts and all the help that I've been getting support, now the executive director of Bridges Preparatory Academy. I'm excited to start this school in Compton. I literally have been very engaged in Compton. I personally belong to the Dad's Project in Compton. I'm with the Homeless Task Force in Compton. I'm with Communities in Motion, First 5 LA. You name it, I'm a member there, and I'm very active because, like I tell people, just because you work at a school doesn't mean you can't understand the community. So you can ask me anything about Compton, I can pretty much tell you. I don't live in Compton, but I'm very close to it. But my heart literally lives in Compton. So one of the biggest things that I saw that Compton needed was an emotional support. We always think about education as where students go and learn, and they do just arithmetic, English, social studies, science. It's all great, but at the end of the day, are they emotionally there? Just because they're there doesn't mean that they're emotionally there. Physically, we can all be there somewhere physically, but the emotion, the whole social emotional of how we're going to basically make it from one day to the other. This school was developed with the whole concept that no other school here in California has. We will be fortunate enough to have 3 full-time counselors on our staff, which will be focusing on 150 students per grade. We're going to have a full-time psychologist. We're going to have a full-time nurse. And as you guys can basically see, we have all these great programs that we're partnering up with, and we're excited to work with. One of the biggest things that I've always told, and Mr. Steve knows me, I'm a big advocate of having as many things possible for every student. Field trip is one of my biggest things. Every child where I've gone to work, they always know Mr. Gomez because we're all about field trips and engagements and programs that we can bring. Mr. Steve, as you guys already know, he's a great asset to our school. He has done so much for us that we will continue to offer as much as possible that we can. One of the biggest things that I'm proud of saying is that all the teachers that we're currently going to be bringing on our first year, their experience with 8 or 9 years of experience or more, which is awesome because many times when you start a brand new school, you always get new teachers, which they're great teachers, but sometimes they need to, learn the ropes. With this, we already are bringing teachers that have all the experience possible. One of, as you guys know, my big thing is a child doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So for me, I need to understand a child, why they're actually there physically. So as soon as a child walks into campus, one of the biggest things that you'll see about myself and all my teachers, we welcome them. We know every child by their name. We know every parent by their name. We actually take the time where all my teachers, all my educators, that they already know that the first 2 weeks, they need to call every single parent and introduce themselves because a community, we become a community. We build relationships that will last forever. One of the unique things that we're going to be doing, we're going to be tracking our kids right out of middle school. We want to know what high school they're going to go to, where they're going to attend. Right out of high school, we want to know, are they going to college? That they go to college, we're going to be their support system. That's one of the biggest things that many schools don't do. Once they pass through your school, it's like they don't believe. It's like, it's not my fault, it's not my problem, move on to the next school. Not with us. Once you become a family member of BPA, you become a family member for life. Like the famous saying that says it takes a village to raise a child. There's also a Spanish proverb that also says every child belongs to you. So that means that any child that goes to our campus, they're going to be basically specially treated as if they were our own child. Because at the end of the day, if we don't take that caring, that positive attitude that we need for every child, they do not flourish and develop to what they need to be. So with all these awesome programs that we're bringing to the table and we're going to bring to the community, and like I mentioned earlier, to every community that wants to be part of BPA, you're more than welcome. Our website is bpacompton.org, so you're welcome to visit our website. And you can actually fill an interest form there where we would be in contact with you as well. So that way you could come in and kind of get a tour of our campus. Many things that we are going to be offering that I don't have all the time to basically let you guys know, but it's going to be an awesome year. Looking forward to working with everyone. I'm excited. Pastor Rhonda, I appreciate everything that you're doing for us. Mr. Steve, all our sponsors, all our partners that we're going to be working with. I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. So, Pastor Rhonda, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Pastor Rhonda, thank you.
This is so informative. This is so helpful. You know, I was beginning to think that the schools needed more, but it takes a community of individuals. It takes various individuals doing different specialties to come together to share this information with our young people. Because as technology continues to change, what our children need to learn changes. Now, we still need to know about our history. We still need to know our arithmetic and our spelling and our English. But there's so many things that take place in society today that I am so glad to know that Mr. Gomez and your team will be making this happen. So I guess I can just open it to others as well, because I'm just floored at all the information, resources that you all are bringing to Compton, first of all, and then to Los Angeles County. So was there anyone that had a little something extra they wanted to add?
I wanted to add that if anyone is wanting to be a Dove participant, to go to doveclub.org and we will contact you. And again, I just wanted to say, Mr. Gomez, you know, I've always admired you, and I'm really grateful for you opening up BPA, because I know it's going to be a special school reaching back to the students and families in Compton.
Thank you, Miss Susan.
Now, you know, I really think, I don't know if I heard it or not, but is there a cooking class anywhere? Because surely we need to begin to eat healthier. And the younger we start, the better, the healthier we'll be. Because, you know, I Celebrate Life is a cancer organization. And, you know, to be able to keep our children as healthy. The other thing is, when our children are eating healthy, guess who else begins to eat healthy out of guilt? Their parents. So it would be great to see a healthy eating program somewhere, Mr. Gomez.
I think I totally agree with you. So I think I'm going to have Mr. Steve start taking some cooking classes this summer. So that way he can be the one to put it together. No, I'm actually glad that you said that, Pastor Rhonda, because the beautiful thing about charter schools, new schools, that we are privileged to be able to select our vendors. And we're privileged that if for some reason, whatever vendor we have currently that year, if for some reason we notice that they weren't having healthy choice for our kids, we can actually switch to a different vendor. So that's one of the things that we'll be doing with parents. As a matter of fact, we're going to be doing that with parents late July, and our staff members, and I would probably say about 20 of our students. We're going to allow vendors to come in and show us their products and sample their products. Not many schools get that option. I know myself, going to public school, I was stuck with frozen burritos and the frozen, tater tots and, things that were edible, but like was mentioned, they were not healthy. And I totally agree. One thing that we are proud of, and we do take into mind, is our PE classes. I know in some of the schools, Mr. Steve was part of it, where he basically had the presidential award because our kids were physically fit. They were able to do certain push-ups, certain, jumping jacks, certain laps and running. So we do take that very seriously because health is a key component. We do preventative measures where we work with the students before it actually gets to that, because diabetes rates are so high, obesity, everything, cancer. I mean, we definitely totally agree with that. And that is one thing that VPA also takes into account, that we will make sure that our vendors, and we are actually going to be partnering up with some health choice groups. And that's where Mr. Steve's going to also come into place, because we've already been looking at some, but like, as you guys see, we go with the best. As you guys can see right now with everyone that's here, that's who we found that's the best to bring to the table. We just want to offer the best, and that's what we're trying to do. But yes, Pastor Rhonda, I totally agree with you. We do eat healthier when our kids eat healthier. So yes, thank you for mentioning that.
And one of the things, one of the things that MCM does is talk about health and nutrition as a dancer, as an artist. How do you feel your body to be able to do all the things you do? The teachers will be able to present that to the students and being able to let them know, they're teaching several different classes all day long. How do they eat? When do they eat? Why do they eat little 6 small meals a day? And to be able to kind of remind the children of back in the day when you were younger and you had like breakfast and snack and you had those things, what do we do to fill our bodies so we have the energy that we need? So those things will be talked about and discussed. And we actually have a little curriculum on healthy eating through dance and being able to teach the children about the different textures of the vegetables and making a salad or a smoothie, and then being able to do a creative dance about that. So those things are part of the curriculum. We'll have those aspects in it. And so we will, make smoothies with the kids and make salads and be able to talk about, grilling fish versus frying fish and all those kind of things. So we're excited that the opportunity to be able to, again, make customized curriculum for our students and to be able to have us live the example before them.
Awesome. So I do have a recommendation. Mama Linda's long handle spoon. She has been cooking some easy under $10 dishes with Celebrate Life, where she made, and I cooked them myself. They're fast and they're easy. One was tuna casserole. Another was fish tacos, and there was actually a quiche that was quite tasty. In fact, I made that one twice. But so she is definitely preparing healthier dishes for the young people, and she goes to schools to make that happen as well. And then the other thought was, when it comes to feeding the children, so many of the children don't, the only time they really eat is when they're at school. So to be able to have healthy choices at school, even if there was a vending machine that it would have some fruit in it, at least give them that choice. Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I'd like to add to, in our Dove curriculum, we do talk about nutrition and what a healthy plate looks like. And so students will start to develop on their plate what should be incorporated. So your protein, your vegetable. We definitely talk about the nutrition piece of eating healthy and drinking water, and lessening any type of juices and sodas and different things. So I just wanted to add that Dove is a component of nutrition. We have our nutrition curriculum as well.
Awesome. So, Mr. Gomez, you mentioned the mental health of our children. So to have a psychologist on staff is an awesome relationship. That's definitely thinking about, because our children, they go through so much, and a lot of times they go through things that we don't even know about. So did you want to speak a little bit more to that?
I do. Thank you for mentioning that. Our whole model is basically on the whole social emotional. I know myself, when I was there in Compton as an administrator for 4 years, I noticed that our kids would show up. Some of them would be sad in the morning, just come in down. And for me, one of the biggest things that I always did was look to see what is it that's going on. For me, I have a background in psychology. I have a master's in psychology. So I always am looking for that child, which gives me that upper hand, compared to other administrators, that I'm able to see the need. So one of the things that I always saw was a child. If they came in, I would bring them into my office. That was the first thing I did. I didn't let them go to their class. One of the first things I did was come to my office. I would let them know, Johnny, would you like a water? Can I get you a juice, a milk? I always tend to have some kind of snacks in the classroom because, like you said, Pastor Rhonda, sometimes the school is the only place where some of these kids eat. And I don't think it's fair. And I noticed that, like I said, I've been in education for quite some time. And it's sad what you see at the campuses. Sometimes we go around life, but when you're really in the trenches, that's when you really see what's going on. So with that said, that's the reason that we developed the program that we did. So I will describe our program a little bit of our schedule. So as soon as the student comes into class, we have what's called an advisory class from 8 to 8:30, where we talk about wellness. We talk about how are you feeling today. We are working with this advisory program that's called Way of Counsel, which goes back from, we're talking about 500 years, when tribes used to get together and they would circle and talk about the problems. That was the counseling that was done many, many years ago. So we're bringing it back. That, the only difference is we don't have the campfires, but we're going to be basically sitting together with all the teachers, the counselors being there. They're going to be bringing different programs where we're going to be talking about responsibility, about trust, about, just different things that basically come in. So let's just assume that a child comes into the advisory class from 8 to 8:30. And let's just say that my teacher, Mr. T, notices that Johnny is having issues. So instead of Johnny going to his first period class, Mr. T is going to send a referral to the counselor saying, something's going on with Johnny. Can you please talk to him? Many kids go on without a counselor physically being on campus and go through the whole day with that problem. At our campus, that's not going to happen. As soon as we notice something going on, that child's going to be referred to the counselor. So that way that counselor can pull them out. And if it's going to take the counselor 2 minutes to talk to them for them to be okay, if it takes them half an hour, if it takes them an hour, if it takes them the whole day for that child to be okay before they go on to the first period or, to the remaining of the day, that's what's going to take place. Because it's like I tell people, it's kind of like us having a toothache. We can't wait and hold off till, they're going to pull it out at the end and you're suffering this time. You need to go to the dentist right away and, address those concerns. Same thing is going to happen with the child. We're going to talk to them. Not only that, there's the quiet kids. Unfortunately, I don't like mentioning it, but those are the Columbine kids. When this happened, those are kids that are reaching out, but we don't listen. We don't hear because we don't see the signs. Those quiet kids, the ones that just, basically go under the radar, we cannot have those kids continue doing that because those are great minds, great kids that need the nurturing. But sometimes we're all busy, caught up into our own worlds, in our schools. And I understand we're always busy, but when we have 3 counselors and a full-time psychologist, just kind of like, scanners and radars, just looking through the whole campus, trying to find, what child is going through some kind of emotional state of mind, we're going to be able to address that. So for us, we do not want any child to go to our campus and not know that they're not addressed. Not only that, our counselors and our psychologists are going to be available to parents. That's one thing that I've noticed. And once again, I've been in education and I never saw where my mom or my dad could go see a counselor or talk to the psychologist. Sometimes parents also need that kind of support. And when they don't have that kind of support and they're stressed and they're angry, who do they take it out on? On their kids. Unfortunately, that's the way it functions. But if we can have happy parents, happy kids, then guess what? Those minds are going to flourish. they're going to learn, they're going to absorb more. And that's what we basically want. And with the fact that every counselor is going to be attached to 150 students, a group. So let's say 150 kids come the first year, and counselor A has them. That counselor stays with that child for 3 years. They move on with from 6th grade to 7th grade to 8th grade, because you need to develop that individual trust. I can attest to this. I'm the youngest of 8. My mom was never home, not because she didn't want to. She was always working. She was out working, trying to make ends meet for us. So I know if I didn't have my brothers and sisters, if I didn't have that 1 or 2 individuals to really be my support, I don't know where I would have been. So some kids are not fortunate enough to have a big family the way I did, and that you have people hovering around you and telling you what to do, and this is right, this is wrong, and guiding you. It's going to be tough. I mean, many parents don't have kids like they used to. Before, it was a family of 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you notice the average family is 1 or 2. And sometimes you need that kind of support. So if we can provide that support with the counselors and the advisory and very active teachers to make sure that the child is emotionally and holistically there, it's going to make a huge difference, because I've seen it. And one of the biggest things I tell my teachers, don't look for a child's weakness, look for their strength. And their strength sometimes can be the fact that they can literally go through the whole day and not speak. Sometimes you need to approach them and say, hey, Johnny, so do you like sports? You got to find something in the kid that they like. Once you make that connection, it's like I tell people, once we have a connection, that connection stays there forever. I know, I'll give you guys a prime example. One time, one of my teachers sent a student to my office, and I still laugh at this because I thought it was great. And as soon as that child came to my office, he sat there, and first thing I offered him was a water. And he's looking at me like, give me these eyes. Like, why are you offering me a water if I just got kicked out of my class? But he wouldn't tell me, but I could tell, I could read it in his eyes. And I said, are you okay? Those were my first word. It wasn't, what did you do? What happened? It was, are you okay? As soon as I asked him, are you okay? He started crying. He started crying because he knew that someone was there for him, that I didn't care that, whatever he did. So once I addressed that, I basically started talking to him, and I asked him what's going on. And we all know things happen. He basically said, my mom and dad, they're going through a divorce. So those little things impact a child more than you can think. So for me, that child stayed with me the whole day. I just told him, I sent a note to the teacher saying, Johnny's going to stay with me. I let him shadow me. He went to lunch with me. He basically went out to recess when I was doing yard duty, lunch duty. Right after school, I just called his mom and his dad, and I had individual conversations with them, and I let them know what was going on. They were very thankful. The next day, this child came back, and he understood. I understand what's going on, and this is what we're going to do, but yet I have Mr. Gomez here to support me. Those are those little things that if we don't look at those things, that child could have gone on where no one was paying attention to them. That child could have been a rebel. He actually turned out to be one of my best students, got the highest grades, because he understood after I kept on seeing him, but he understood that things happen. That sometimes mommy and daddy, they just don't get along anymore, and, things have to go their certain ways. And he understood that. But like I told him, they're both your parents, love them both, and let's just see what plays out. So those little key components, make a huge difference. And I just look at that because I said, if I wouldn't have seen that, what would have been of this child? So just the little things make a huge difference. And yes, Pastor Rhonda, for us, it's key. It's key to make sure that those children are emotionally stable, that they're emotionally there, and that we can make a huge difference for them. And with the whole curriculum, if you look at our curriculum, it's pretty rigorous. One thing that I want to address is that I noticed, because I'm a research-based person, that many kids graduate barely taking Algebra 1 or taking Algebra 2 in high school. With us, you're going to have the opportunity to take out to Algebra 2 by the time you get out of 8th grade, which is key because we want to make sure that these kids are successful. I know that many kids, they're not meant to go to college because that's the way they think. And I don't tell them that. I let them know you can do whatever you want. Set your mind to it, and we will guide you there. And the biggest thing to basically set their mind is that their mind has to be emotionally stable. Once we get that stability, everything's, like they say, sky's the limit. So yes, I definitely want to address that. We will be having a full-time psychologist, the 3 counselors, to address any need for parents, for teachers, even for the teachers. I tell my teachers, just because you go see a counselor doesn't mean you have. Sometimes you just need to speak up. Sometimes, we need that person that we can confide in. Hey, this is going on today. Yesterday I had a bad day. This is what happened. I always tell the person, the best counselor and psychologist you can talk to is just the one that listens. That's all it takes for a counselor and a psychologist. Just listen, be a good listener. And some of us, it's very hard because I know, like I said, we always want to give an answer, but the best thing is just listening. So thank you. Yes, that's what I wanted to address.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gomez. And I know that it already sounds like you should be preparing for your high school that you will be starting. So, Mr. Steve, before we go, is there anything you'd like to say?
Real quick, I just want to mention, Pastor, that 2 of the enrichment programs that are also part of BPA, they're not able to be here. One is our music teacher, Miss Tanisha, who was on her way to a performance that they're doing for Juneteenth today, out where her studio is located with her students. And then we also have our robotics and coding program, Mr. Alfonso, who's opening up a new facility out in Riverside. So he's branching out and growing as well. But both of them will be part of the enrichment team over at BPA. And again, just tying into the curriculum that Mr. Gomez has created and providing the students those interest level programs in both coding, robotics, graphic design, and then with Miss Tanisha with the music, be providing the instrumental and vocal performance as well as theater. So I just want to share that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. This has been a great day. I appreciate all of the vendors and partners. You're not vendors. Vendors are people you do business with. Partners are the ones that we work together well, and we help to support and to build this village, this community, and right there at BPA in Compton. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming out and sharing with us today. We have, let's see if I can make this happen. We could do this. We want to, Bridges, BPA, Bridges Preparatory Academy. Thanks you for today. And as we always say, until next time, choose life.